1039 LI News Radio presents Meet the Candidates with Jay Oliver.
And welcome to 1039 LI News Radio. Meet the Candidates. Happy to have here Dan Panico, vying for re-election in Brookhaven Town Council in the 6th District. Dan, welcome aboard.
Thanks for having me.
Good to have you here. Re-election. Now, Dan, 6th District, for people who are not fully aware, is Center Moriches, Eastport, Shirley, Mastic Beach area, Smith Point, correct?
Yes, also a little bit of Brookhaven Hamlet, Ridge south of 25, west of Smith Road, Upton, Calverton at exit 71, the Brookhaven portion of Calverton, and Manorville as well.
Manorville as well. You can't help but think, almost at the anniversary with Sandy last year, how's the area doing right now? Fully recovered? I know they took a big hit.
Yeah, a very big hit, especially down in Mastic Beach. In the village, Mastic Beach is now a village, and as a councilman, I still represent the area, but my authority is very limited. But I try to use my elected position to make sure and lend my voice, along with all the other elected officials, across party lines to get them the recovery. It's one of the lowest lying areas off the bay, and when the water comes over, the dunes used to be 15, 20 feet, and I grew up in Mastic Beach. Now they're flat. You stand in the middle of Fire Island, you look to the right, you see the ocean, you look to the left, you see the bay. It's never been like that. So we're pressing the federal government to make sure when you're going to do dune replenishment, it starts in Mastic Beach there. They need it. Otherwise, there's not going to be a Fire Island. It's just going to be nothing more than a sandbar.
No question about it. And when you think of towns like this, you think of development, you think of the environment, you think of the budget. I mean, those are three hot button issues with residents, especially when it comes to election time. And how do you face right now the development issue? Is there proper development going on in those areas?
I think in the area that I represent there is. And I think that what I try to do is strike a balance. We've preserved more land in my council district than any other council district in the last 3 years that I've been in office. However, when it comes to development, some properties, the name of the game now is redevelopment. And I try to inject myself into these developments to make sure that the architecture, the landscaping, the signage is befitting any other high-quality area. It used to be, and again, I grew up in Mastic Beach. I graduated from William Floyd High School. I went to college. I went to law school. And I'm happy to represent the area that I grew up in. It used to be back decades ago, you did whatever you want. Those days are over. And we're raising the bar for what's acceptable in the area, and we're having a lot of success. It's
amazing to me. You bring up the fact that you started out as a lawyer, and it seems a lot of lawyers go into politics. Does it kind of work hand in hand?
No, I had an interesting road because a friend of mine, Keith Romaine, was the former councilman. Ed Romaine, the supervisor's son, passed away.
Right.
I went to law school with Keith, and when he passed away, it was tragic. It was sudden. I saw the work that he started, and I was determined to make sure that work continued and also leave my own stamp on the area to make it better, an area in which I grew up. And I'm happy I made the decision. I have a supportive wife. We've been married a little over 3 years. You can't do this without a supportive wife. I'm out every single night, and it's turned out good for me, good for the community as well.
I think all residents, whether in your district, any district on the island, number one topic in their minds has to be taxes.
Absolutely.
Where is everything kind of in right now in the 6th District? Are people kind of solid in their thinking regarding property taxes, everything else?
No, everyone is overtaxed.
Yeah.
The town of Brookhaven, the town taxes have not gone up in as long as I've been there, the 3 years. I think approximately 8 years. Your town taxes have not gone up, but your town taxes are very small. School taxes, 65, 70% of your school bill. That's the problem right now, even with foreclosed homes. You have people who can afford the mortgage, they can afford the home, they can make the payment, they can't afford the taxes. And there's no easy answer. The answer has to come from the state. At the town, we're doing our part, but every taxing jurisdiction is subservient to school taxes and the problem that we have. We're not going to see this economy recover fully here on Long Island, and we are in danger of becoming a service economy because this is now a global marketplace. Companies that used to employ here, the defense industry is not here anymore. The housing industry will not do it for us. Eventually an island will be built out. We need to have a new revenue generator to support our school district and our way of life. And school taxes are impeding the growth, economic growth in the area, because anyone else now can go make their product in the Carolinas. Because what it takes to afford to employ somebody to live here, you can employ 2.5 people elsewhere. So it's tough, and that's what the state really needs to tackle. At the town, we're doing our part. The taxes haven't gone up. The budget, Ed Romaine's budget, provides no tax increase no layoffs, provides for all the services. So we're doing our part in our small corner of the world, but the state needs to do their part as well.
You know, as part of the Brookhaven Town Council, is there a lot of partisan fighting going on, and does that impede progress with guys like you as the focus is on your district, but overall, is that hard sometimes or no?
The biggest difference I've seen, and a marked difference, the former supervisor, when he was in office, it was more of a political battle on the board, a 4-3 board. Ed Romaine, and you've known Ed a long time, sure. He's brought a sense of maturity to the board, and that bickering and infighting, I think, is a thing of the past. Because Ed, like myself, we try to work across party lines. You know, in the past, people didn't want to work across party lines. The town has come a long way, and we're light years ahead of those clowns in Washington. People who just they want to fight for the sake of fighting. The town government's never been like that. We're the closest to the people, and I hope people aren't turned off by what goes on in Washington, because people should realize, and everyone gets pumped up about national politics. You watch MSNBC, you watch Fox, or any side that you're on. People should realize that it's your local government that really affects your life more so than some of the clowns in Washington. And I encourage people to come out, obviously, to vote for me, but to come out and vote on November 5th. It's important.
No question. We talked a little bit about the environment and sewer and water. And is there like a fine line there with the Environment and Development, Sewer, Water, Clean Water Act? Is that all put in perspective? How does that work?
It is. So, after the scandals with the Southwest Sewer District in the 70s,
right.
Sewers stopped coming out east. It stopped where it is because of the unfortunate corruption involved in the Southwest Sewer District. Sewers would be an economic and environmental boon to the area. People often joke that Mastic Shirley and Mastic Beach is the area of banks and drugstores. Those are because those are the only dry uses that can be allowed under the health department code. Other wet uses, per se, like a restaurant, a bar, a tavern, you can't make happen under the health code because you can't put that much water into the ground because we're on septic and cesspool. The way Applebee's on William Floyd Parkway came to the area was that the franchisee had to go out, buy up other parcels in the same hydrogeological zone, sanitize those parcels, transfer the properties to the county, transfer those sanitary credits to the parcel that Applebee's is on to make it happen without sewers. It's cumbersome, it's arduous, and it's expensive. If we had a sewer district, obviously you'd catch all the nitrogen from going into the Forge River or into the bay. You'd also have widespread economic development. Mastic and Shirley would experience a true comeback with an attractive nightlife if we had sewers, because right now, getting it done is taking so long because it's so costly. If you had a sewer district in the area, and they've been talking about sewers, and sewers are not covered by the town, at our economic development zone, sewer district number 2, straight up William Floyd Parkway by the expressway, we have our sewer district, but the county was supposed to build a sewer district probably since I was in high school. My hair is now turning gray. We're still waiting for the sewer district, and I think it's important. It's important for the area.
No question. We see a lot of young people taken off from Long Island. They just don't have the jobs here. They have to maybe move on. We spoke about this the other day with the supervisor, 3,000 jobs being added to Suffolk County. How does that affect your district? Do you find right now, do you kind of see complaints coming in? There's no work, not a lot of jobs coming in, young folks graduating high school, going into college, maybe not. How do you see the year?
I see some job recovery happening, and I see the economy coming back in the town of Brookhaven, and how I measure that is with our mortgage tax. Our mortgage tax for the last 4 years was never over $1 million. And just for the viewers, the mortgage tax, when you go to your closing, right, you pay 1.05% of your mortgage amount in your closing costs. Many people don't realize that. They just chalk it up to closing costs. That number in a town at its height in 2005 or 6 was $37 million. We've been less than $10 million for the last couple of years and less than $1 million a month. The last 4 months in the town of Brookhaven have been over $1 million. So I think it's 1.1, 1.2, 1.45, and then 1.2 again. That's a sign. That's a sign of the market's moving. People now are taking the money they have out. They're investing in real estate, which is a good thing. And I see in my area, I see people my age, and this is what I want, especially for the district that I represent. I want people to move in. It's time for owner-occupied, put roots in the community, have some children in the community, in the school district, be invested in those children's life and the school district, and have a sense of pride in the community. That's what we need. For far too long, people were allowed to do whatever they want. They bought up houses under speculation. We're closing down those houses. sober homes, people who just want to cram people into houses like sardines just to make money. Yeah. The old way of doing things are over, and we're closing down houses. I have something called a See Something, Say Something initiative. I borrowed it from the MTA. It's not my own slogan. To let people call my office and give a complaint anonymously. We follow up on every single complaint in the town. We put extra money in the budget for overtime for our investigators, because sometimes you don't see what happens until the sun goes down or people come home from work. We're going to have more investigations. Those are going to continue. We've closed down notorious homes like 502 William Floyd Parkway, and we're going to keep it up because the people who live there deserve better. And again, this is something I'm very passionate about. I grew up there.
I know,
and
absolutely.
I hate to see people exploited, and we're going to turn it around.
Absolutely. And of course, now banks are now held accountable for these homes that are in foreclosure. They have to be able to clean up the property. Neighborhoods are complaining.
Yeah, they
all
are.
over the place.
And if not, we go forward. We will mow the yard for you. We have a waste management department, inspectors. We'll mow the yard for you. But when the town mows your yard, it's not as costly as when you would do it yourself or hire a landscaper. We get back every penny of that. We put a lien on the property, and we get made whole. The town taxpayers get made whole for every dime. We board up homes, so that way they don't become houses of prostitution, drugs, and we get paid for all of those boards. And we're going to keep on doing that, cleaning up properties, and even knocking down homes. Under the code, Chapter 73 of the code allows the town to enter upon a property, private property, knock the property down if it meets the requirements under the code. We go through the Supreme Court, we get a judge to sign. If I had my druthers, I would knock down a lot more houses, but it's an arduous process. We've knocked down 2 handfuls of homes, and we're going to keep on doing it because that's important. Especially, like, you see a block, and you see, especially in Mastic, Shirley, Mastic Beach,
Sure.
communities coming back. You have a lot of people. It's an affordable place to live. They want to raise a family. It's right by the water. It's that one house on the block. It's always that one house on the block, and we're going to be getting after those people. And if we can knock a home down, if it's burnt out, we're going to do it.
Gang and drugs. It's all over the island, prevalent in so many different areas. I know in Mastic, Shirley, and some of the areas in your district, it's been highlighted over the years of some of the stuff going on there. Where is it right now? Is it on the decline? Is it under control? Good police presence throughout the area?
I think the police do a very good job. We had a gang summit at Town Hall. Myself, the supervisor, Tom Spoda, representative from the sheriff's office as well. It was exhaustive with all of the community groups as well to inform people. It comes down to education. It really comes down to education and giving people real hope. You know, kids go out into these gangs for a sense of family, something they invariably are not getting at home, and it's a problem. It's a problem we have, and it's not only in my district, it's throughout this island. Gangs and drugs are an issue.
Sure.
But, you know, the town doesn't have police authority. We have housing authority, and we break up these homes, and we work with the police. The county police have been excellent. Every time I call Inspector Neubauer at the 7th Precinct, send them an email, they're right on it. They've been on top of it.
Dan Panico, vying for re-election in the 6th District in Brookhaven Town, and by the way, endorsed by the Republicans and Conservative parties.
And the Independence Party.
And the Independence Party. So everybody go vote. Dan Panico, thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much, Jay.
And for Meet the Candidates 1039 LI News Radio, I'm Jay Oliver. Have a great day.